West Bengal government has revoked the transfer of 42 protesting doctors. The transfer of the 42 Bengal doctors had led to a huge, massive row. Reshuffle had also sparked a strong reaction from the doctors' associations, who labelled it as a conspiracy and an effort to intimidate the senior healthcare professionals. Well, doctors and professors from prominent medical colleges, including the Kolkata Medical College, were transferred through an order which was issued on Friday. That order has now been revoked. Well, Kamalika is going to be joining us in a bit to give us some more details on this. But remember, there were a large number of doctors who were actually transferred, and at that point of time, it had led to a huge outcry. The reason which was being given was that they had violated the norms of the profession. But those who were criticizing it said that there was an attempt which was being made by the state administration to silence them. Let me go across to Kamalika, who's getting us the details. Kamalika, the reason, what are you picking up from your sources? What is the reason for a revocation of this transfer order?
See, right now there is already an unrest going on. Though the government is saying, the health secretary has stated that this order preparation, everything was ready around 9. It has nothing to do with RG Corps. And there were 42 transfers, out of which 32 were promotional posting and 10 were others who were outside, but they were supposed to get that posting only. But since there is an unrest going on, government does not want any other tension area. And sources also tells News18 that Mamata Banerjee was not aware of this transfer. And when she came to know, she was very furious on this. And from what we are picking up from the sources, that right now they don't want any unrest in this system, because already junior doctors, interns, they are in strike. So they don't want to go for that, and that's why this order has been revoked.
Thank you very much, Kamalika, for getting us those details. So what is being picked up is that those transfer orders have been revoked. And the contention is that the West Bengal the Chief Minister was not kept in the loop, and that is why it has now been taken back. Okay, we are going to go now across to the Super Saturday debate, the Muda storm. We are talking about Karnataka. It is something which has hit the Congress party in Karnataka as well as the Chief Minister himself, as trouble has mounted on the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. The Governor Thaawarchand Gehlot has sanctioned the prosecution of the Chief Minister over alleged irregularities in the Muda site allotments. Karnataka government has, of course, condemned Governor's move. It's called it unconstitutional and ruled out any possibility of the Chief Minister resigning at the cabinet meeting which was held earlier today, moments after this news first came out. In fact, the Chief Minister and the Congress party have alleged that the Governor is working not as a constitutional representative, but as a puppet in the hands of the centre and the BJP. CM has also alleged that he is going to now hit the streets in protest, and stated that the tactics of the BJP and the JDS to destabilize his government will just not work. However, the BJP is calling for the Chief Minister's resignation. It says that the Congress's legacy is steeped in corruption. The party has betrayed the trust of the people. It's a showdown of sorts which is now taking place in Karnataka over the Muda scam. Now, is this a prosecution or a persecution? That's the larger question which I'm going to take across to all my special guests this evening. Should the Chief Minister resign, or is the BJP overstretching itself? Well, joining me this evening, Sanju Verma. Before I'm going to go across to my guests, this is going to be the top focus on the Super Saturday debate.
I have sought for the sanction for the prosecution of the CM as an individual.
High command is with me. The entire cabinet is with me. The government is with me. All MLAs are with me.
It is a great injustice which has been done. Any inquiry I had done, he could have taken an action. Here there is no inquiry, and no common can go and seek the governor permission on this.
He should resign immediately and face the consequences and face the case.
It is a due process of law. and law will take its own course, and Siddaramaiah should cooperate, and also he should step down.
Okay, I'm going to go across to my special guest this evening, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Bhavya Narasimham Murthy, Spokesperson of the Congress, R.K. Upadhyay, Senior Journalist, and Ashish Dikshit, the lawyer. I'm going to go across to you first. Bhavya, should the Chief Minister step down? Because after all, the prosecution has been sanctioned by the Governor. And I guess the CM has to be like Caesar's wife. Should he step down?
The question here is, why is the governor's position has been compromised? The prosecution itself, that's not lawful. They have not followed the standard operating procedure, which the BJP itself had made in September 2021, when they made the section 17A, which says any such persecution, before going to the governor for a request, a police officer should have conducted an initial investigation, and only a prima facie, if they find some evidence, that is when they can request. But this Mr. Abraham, he is a common man. He cannot directly approach the governor on his own basis at all. He had two options, either to go through police or through High Court. Maybe the High Court could have asked him to take permission to request the government to order a governor to order prosecution. This is according to law. You know, there were similar cases where Lokayukta had gathered evidence and requested the governor for prosecution of Mr. Kumaraswamy. I'm just taking the examples of Karnataka. Shashikala Jolle, Nirani, Jardardhan Reddy, when they were in power. But none of the governor did not give permission to prosecute any of these people, even though Lokayukta had provided every evidence in writing, which was actually according to the standard operating procedure that is supposed to happen. Here, in fact, the person, Abraham, he himself says, yes, I was supposed to go through High Court, but I requested and the governor has agreed. Don't you think this is a compromise that a governor's position, a constitutional position has done?
So, Bhavya, I'm going to take this question.
Not respect the constitution at all.
Okay, I'm going to take this question across to Sanju Verma. Sanju, you just heard what Bhavya had to say. Some of them made sense, some valid points which are also being made. But it's also about perception. I mean, chief ministers also have to be above reproach. That can be the counter argument which comes in from the BJP. But given the fact that governors, unfortunately, are always seen upon as stooges or puppets of the central government, the governor giving a go-ahead to a prosecution may not cut much ice. So in that context, do you think the BJP is making a mistake and asking for the resignation of the chief minister?
You know, Pallavi, I heard what the Congress had to say and I will put forth my point and I don't wish to be interjected. The first point is this: is the governor well within his rights to order for the prosecution of the chief minister? Yes. As per Article 161, 163 and 167, the Constitution empowers the governor to do so. Point number two, the Commission of Inquiry Act 1952 also empowers the government to order a probe or an investigation if there is even prima facie evidence of wrongdoing. So has the governor, in this case Mr. Thaawarchand Gehlot, done an outreach of sorts? Certainly not. Point number three, as per section 17 of the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 and as per section 218 of the BNSS, the new civil and criminal codes pertaining to certain aspects which have come into play. As per that also, what the government has ordered, the governor has ordered, pardon me, by way of a probe is absolutely bona fide with no malintent. But most importantly, you raised a very pertinent point about perception. So let me say this, Pallavi. The date was 27th January. The year was 2011. The chief minister then was the sitting chief minister B.S. Yediyurappa, who was then in BJP, and the governor then was a congressman, a bona fide congressman, Hansraj Bhardwaj, H.R. Bhardwaj.
Yes.
H.R. Bhardwaj ordered that B.S. Yediyurappa be prosecuted. And B.S. Yediyurappa had to step down. He was prosecuted not only by the Karnataka High Court, till as recently as 2021, Yediyurappa's case went all the way to the Supreme Court. He finally had to get a clean chit from the Supreme Court to be declared completely free in terms of being not culpable in the corruption scam that he was embroiled in. And my final point is this. People who keep saying that, oh, the governor is a puppet of the central government, because that is what Siddaramaiah has posted on his X handle. I want to tell Mr. Siddaramaiah this, that forget prosecuting a sitting chief minister, be it Shibu Soren, be it Madhu Koda, be it J. Jayalalitha, be it K. Karunanidhi, or even Lalu Prasad Yadav for that matter. These were sitting chief ministers who were not only prosecuted, but they were arrested when the Congress was in power. So the Congress, I would advise them to not wax eloquent on national TV, because their hypocrisy is there in the public domain for everyone to see. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Anyone with basic common sense knows that Congress has जो कहते हैं ना धज्जियां उड़ा दी है संविधान की, इसलिए यहाँ बैठकर संविधान की दुहाई मत दो.
Okay, Sanjita, I'm going to try and get a legal voice. Mr. Ashish Dixit, what do the laws say? What are the rules says? Is it this prosecution, the sanction for prosecution, does it really require for a sitting chief minister who's facing it to step down? Or does he have the benefit of the law on his side? Because certainly the Congress party is wanting to take legal recourse. They are going to be approaching courts.
See, at the outset, I must inform that the sanction which has been granted is a sanction only for conducting an investigation. This is not a sanction in terms of conducting a prosecution before court of law. Under the new section 17A, in 2018, amendment was made and this section was added, which said no inquiry can be conducted against a public official without there being a prior sanction. So yes, legally grant of sanction was required, and governor is the competent authority to give the sanction. And as of now, the investigation will start against the chief minister, and legally, as we all know, there is no requirement for him to resign, because we have a sitting chief minister who's inside jail and he is not willing to resign. So legally, there is no requirement, there is no judgment or a provision of law which says that he has to resign. But I must state that this sanction is an important step forward. Legally, sanction can be granted, and the order which I have seen in the public domain is very clear that he has analyzed the material which was placed before him. So it's a, I should say, a rational sanction order. It's an order which was passed after due application of mind. So it is obviously that will be taken to court, but it may survive or may not survive the scrutiny of the court. But as of now, a sanction was validly required, and we have seen in the case of Mr. Chandrababu Naidu also, this issue had come up, that before conducting an inquiry, sanction was not obtained. So as far as your question is concerned, yes, there is no legal requirement for him to resign as of now.
Okay, so but politics often works on perceptions, and that's an interesting point you made in the comparison to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, Karnataka politics, I'm going to focus on that. The Karnataka politics, a prosecution or the corruption charges against the CMs is now become pretty common over there. I mean, Yediyurappa's example has been given by Sanju Verma said. So having said that, is it really such a big deal if the prosecution has been sanctioned by the governor in terms of the image and perception of Mr. Siddaramaiah and of the rest of the Congress party? That's one. And second, will it now lead to a kind of upheaval within the Congress party, because D.K. Shivkumar's supporters have been waiting for long that he should take over as the CM?
Now, before getting to the politics around this issue, as the previous speaker said, I think both the Congress and the BJP spokespersons have not even read the communique from the Raj Bhavan clearly. I mean, it's very obvious. It doesn't talk about prosecution. It talks about permission for investigation under 17A. For prosecution, he has to apply Section 19. He has not applied Section 19. So let them be clear. It is not prosecution. It is for investigation. And he has made out a clear-cut case where, in detail, as the previous speaker said, in detail got into this thing, what even the Supreme Court has upheld his power, the governor's power to, allow this kind of investigation. So this is a settled law. So in fact, his communique very clearly says, in court, it is very necessary that a neutral, objective, and non-partisan investigation should be conducted under Section 17A of the Prevention of Corruption Act. So that is what Mr. Gehlot has ordered now. So both of them should relax because the prosecution is not at beginning. But what he has done so far is permitted under the law. Okay. Because the governor has the power, and in fact, he has, invoked Section the Article 163 of the Constitution, where he is given this power that he is not bound by the report given by the cabinet, the advice given by the cabinet. He can take his own opinion. Have his own opinion on this. So that is what he has done. And now, of course, there is politics behind the whole thing. But as Sanjeev Verma pointed out, in the case of Yediyurappa, he was not only prosecuted, an FIR was filed, and then the bail was denied, and he was even jailed for 3 weeks. So this is a precedence that is there already. So what Gehlot done is nothing new, and the congressmen are making a big show of it. Of course, they're going to bring in the top-notch lawyers to Bangalore, I think tomorrow, to file this case in the High Court. But politically, this is not going to be easy for Mr. Siddaramaiah to face.
But legally speaking, I think they have a
corruption case.
Mr. Upadhyay, legally speaking, I think every political party and chief ministers do have a right to go in for the legal recourse. I'll just come back to you, but Bhavya, this is a question which I actually asked Mr. Upadhyay. But this is something. I'll just come back to you, Mr. And Bhavya, this is what I really want to now move on to the next stage. I know you may want to deny it, but since I also cover the Congress party, I'm very much aware. There is this camp of Siddaramaiah, there is a camp of DK Shivkumar. We saw the delay in announcing the Chief Minister. Supporters of DK Shivkumar have certainly been pitching and wanting him to become the CM. Do you think this issue is actually going to lead to an internal party upheaval? The voices of DK Shivkumar supporters will now demand that Siddaramaiah maybe should step down till the entire investigation is over and let DK Shivkumar be the CM. After all, he's a deputy CM. Deputy CM to CM mein kya farak padta hai?
Absolutely. That is what I...
One minute. Bhavya, please. I'll come to you, Mr. Upadhyay. Yeah.
Pallavi, every party has their own problems, the internal problems. But when it comes to fighting a common enemy, we are all united. If you had listened to the press meet, that
yes, I did.
PM today in his leadership, in the afternoon, you can see the unity we have. He's standing by the Chief Minister. The whole cabinet is standing by the Chief Minister. The High Command is standing by the Chief Minister, because we can see that they do not. And to answer what the BJP spokesperson just said, she's speaking about hypocrisy and all this. Let me tell you, Yediyurappa's case was totally different than this. In that case, the Lokayukta had already done an investigation. There was prima facie, and the request was made by the Lokayukta, not a commoner.
Okay.
The commoner, Abraham himself said, I cannot approach the governor on my own. I am supposed to go through High Court. Either I can go to High Court or a police. They have to stake the case and say, okay, go take the permission from the governor. That is when he can go. He himself has, agreed to that. And then he says, yes, they're going to take the legal course and we will fight in the court. The question here is, why did the governor did not follow the standard operating procedure, which was followed for Yediyurappa?
No, but Ashish Dixit, you heard a legal voice. They are saying a proper procedure has been followed.
There was strong evidence. Yediyurappa, there was strong evidence. The Lokayukta itself had requested. It was a totally different case that happened.
But till you don't finish your investigation, but Bhavya, till you don't finish your investigation, how can you give a clean chit to him already? I'll come to you.
No.
Okay, I got... Bhavya, 1 minute. Can I just get in a word from Sanjeev Verma?
Prima facie, they should have evidence. Prima facie.
May I please come in?
I guess, I'm presuming the governor will not give a go-ahead without himself getting legal opinion. I'm sure the governor, I'm presuming that. I don't think I'm wrong in my presumption. Okay, Bhavya, I'll just come back to you. Sanjeev Verma, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Pallavi, Ashish Dixit is a consummate lawyer. But I want to say, with no offense to him, I have read the complete communique. I never come on a debate without doing due diligence and homework. This is not about semantics. This is not about investigation versus prosecution and whether, a complaint was first filed with the Lokayukta, whether sufficient evidence was there or not, and whether the governor should have come in at a much later stage. Semantics is something that will be discussed at a later stage. Currently, the most relevant point is this. The Muda scam has happened. You have two people who are activists, Mr. Abraham and Sneha Mai Krishna, who have nothing to do with the BJP, who have filed complaints. Their complaints are bona fide. Even if they had political affiliations, their complaints would still be bona fide. And the most important point is this, something which nobody seems to be focusing on. I always say that when, there is a scam, they always say Caesar's wife should be above suspicion. In this case, look at the irony, look at the travesty of justice, as you will, Pallavi. When was the land denotified? The land in question which we are talking about, which is the center of the controversy today, was denotified when Siddaramaiah was the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. When was a large parcel of this so-called disputed land taken by Siddaramaiah's son-in-law via a gift deed at heavily discounted rates when Siddaramaiah was the Chief Minister? When did Muda decide to give huge parcel of prime property in central Mysuru and south Mysuru to Parvati, Siddaramaiah's wife? It happened when Siddaramaiah's own son was the MLA of Mysuru and was one of the key decision makers in the Mysuru Urban Development Council. So the simple fact is this: you can't be the judge, jury and executioner. Siddaramaiah is the Chief Minister or the Deputy Chief Minister. He denotifies large parcels of prime property. Siddaramaiah's son is part of the decision-making authority at Muda. He gives his mother large parcels of property, flouting every rule in the rule book. And today, when the long arm of law has caught up with the Siddaramaiyahs, the father, the wife, in this case Siddaramaiah's, the son-in-law, the son, the entire Congress cabal is saying, ये तो बीजेपी की साजिश है. ये बीजेपी की साजिश नहीं है. Pallavi, in 20 seconds more, I will just say this: be it the stone mining scam, the tanker mafia scam, the Valmiki scam, the Muda scam, the rice scam, the Congress has not covered itself in glory. Their khatakhat model has been demolished by their own incompetence. And that is precisely the reason the Congress is crying on national TV, trying to defend the indefensible.
Okay. Can I get into the other two voices? Because I'm going to start running out of time. Mr. Ashish Dixit, the timing is something which is often talked about whenever it comes to any politics or accusations as well. What the Congress party is saying, when you were in power, before Siddaramaiah became the Chief Minister, why didn't you even bother to look at this? Why did you kind of overlook it? Why are you talking about it now? Does that cut much ice, legally speaking?
See, before I answer that, I must clarify what I had stated in my opening remark. It was this, that what happens after this sanction? After this sanction, investigation will start against him. No charge sheet is going to be filed against him. So when you say sanction is to prosecute, that means investigation is complete, charge sheet is prepared, and then the sanction was required, which is not the case here. Now, coming to whether another issue was raised, that whether he should resign. Legally, no requirement, but yes, as he is the sitting Chief Minister, no one can expect a fair investigation.
Correct.
Because he is also the head of, because he's head of the government, then Muda will always fall under him. So to have a reasonable and a fair investigation, it is required, it is sought for that he may resign, but you cannot ask him to resign. Please understand, legally you cannot
ask
give
him,
a direction.
but you're saying that politically speaking,
we have seen that in case of Mr. Kejriwal, 20 petitions were filed in High Court. Nothing happened. So this is a political argument, but legally there is no requirement for him to resign.
Okay. Mr. Upadhyay, last quick word. We've got a couple of seconds left to go. I'm going to wind up the debate. Do you see a kind of a upheaval in Karnataka politics? BJP wanting to come to power and the Congress itself could have certain amount of internal rebellion, so to say? We are really out of time.
Absolutely.
So if you could quickly,
No, I think it is just waiting to explore, because this Shivkumar has made it very clear that he should also get a chance to become the Chief Minister. And now he will seize this chance. Though, I mean, publicly he's putting out the show saying that, I'm behind him. I'm like the, boulder, supporting him and all that. But I'm sure he will now put pressure on the High Command to make him the Chief Minister. But within the Congress party also, there are people, who would like to see Siddaramaiah go. But it's not going to be easy because Siddaramaiah has his own power base.
Yes.
A lot of MLAs are behind him, and it's not going to be easy to replace him. So that is where the problem is going to be. Unfortunately, the people of Karnataka will be the sufferers, because of this political slugfest.
Mr. Upadhyay, I'm sorry to have to cut you short over here. We are really running out of time, but you're absolutely right. It's the people who are going to suffer. And once again, Karnataka is in the eye of politics, much controversy. But thank you very much, Sanju Verma. Thank you very much, Bhavya, Mr. Dikshit, as well as Mr. R.K. Upadhyay. So let's see what's the next step going to be. As of now, Congress completely backing the Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah, and no question on him.